We're back looking at the crisis in care for Canadian veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder. And with us is Sylvain Chartrand, a veteran of Canada's mission in Bosnia. He is a retired corporal who lives with post-traumatic stress disorder. And joining us in Calgary, Tom MacEachern. His wife, retired Corporal Leona MacEachern, suffered from PTSD and took her own life this past Christmas. Mr. MacEachern, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you for your condolences. We've certainly heard across the country from a number of people, both who knew her and complete strangers who were touched by that story.
Well, one reason you are speaking out, Tom, is because you believe PTSD has reached epidemic proportions for Canadian military, and that's your statement, your description that you've written to the public. What do you think would alleviate that?
We're seeing more and more that people with long-term military careers, both in hot zones and even in non-combat roles, are having problems that are broadly discussed as PTSD, but may in fact be things such as difficulties in adjusting back to normal life. The military life is very regimented, controlled. These people are trained to act a certain way, and they're taken care of in many ways. And when it comes time for them to end their service career and they're left to cope on their own back in normal life, it can be very challenging.
Okay, we're just going to turn to Sylvain now, because you brought your medications. We didn't ask you to. You wanted Canadians to see this is what life with PTSD is like. Describe your symptoms for us. Describe them at the beginning, describe them now.
Well, they're mostly all the same. It depends on the intensity, but there's basically trouble concentrating, flashback, there's night terrors, nightmares, to different various levels. Sometimes it could be worse, sometimes less. A sense of, hopelessness to a certain degree, that things, will not get better. You've lost the interest in the things that you used to do before. So, you've done something. You're a changed man. Before Bosnia, I was someone, and then coming back, I'm someone else. I'm not the same person.
What has your journey been like to get treatment?
Yeah, that's been quite challenging. While in the military, since 1993, I've tried and tried and tried with the military. Unfortunately, they were not willing to do anything. So I had to do things on my own. The day that I mentioned that I went to Bosnia, that's when the diagnostic came, post-traumatic stress disorder. Because a civilian doctor does not have, since I was in the military, does not have my records. So he would have seen that I went to Bosnia, and basically then it would have been diagnosed much earlier.
Okay, Tom, let's go to you in Calgary, because I hear a little bit there, how this could affect family. Your wife left a suicide note. You have no doubt that post-traumatic stress disorder was her end. How do you as a family live through it? How does this affect family?
Well, it's of course devastating in the final analysis in this situation, but this was an ongoing process. She was essentially engaged in an ongoing struggle, in her case with Veterans Affairs, to get acknowledgement that she had a problem, that she had a depressive problem, which they identified and allowed her to seek treatment from a third-party provider from, and that's as far as it went. In fact, a couple of weeks after her death, I received a notice from them indicating that they had denied her claim. This is an ongoing situation. I have now taken on the appeal of that decision, and I might add at the urging of the Veterans Affairs Minister himself, Mr. Fantino, who I met in Calgary 2 weeks ago. He indicated that they're aware that there are problems in the department and that they are trying desperately to make changes as quickly as they can, but it is a very large and complex issue.
Tom, thank you. You echoed the frustration of that trying to get help. Sylvain, you've gone through 47 different types of medications, very complex hospital treatments. Your drugs cost over $3,000 a month. What does a good day look like to you?
Yeah, a good day. You know, I would probably say a better day. A better day would be waking up at least as tired as I went to bed, you know, not more tired. So that's a good day, because to wake up really refreshed, that does not exist. Being able to do things, it's not that I'm not able to do things, but having the sense of accomplishment, you know, being happy, that is pretty much inexistent.
Thank you very much. And Tom, you've had a thank you from Veterans Affairs Minister for speaking out, but we want to thank you for speaking out here as well.
Thank you.
All right, we do have a military chaplain in our audience, a Padre here. Tom, he'd like to say a word to both of you, but I'm wondering if we can have the Padre speak to the loss we've heard here, Padre.
Tom, on behalf of chaplains within the Canadian Armed Forces and as a Padre to soldiers, I want to express to you my own personal condolences. Having done this for a long time, there's not a lot of words that can be said with the loss of a loved one. It's a journey, and it's a tough one. And because I wear a cross on my epaulette, my prayer for you and Sylvain would be that somehow you might know and experience a sense of God's peace that could guard your heart and mind against things like fear and worry and anxiety and all those stressors that go along with losing someone that we love dearly. So God bless, and may you be encouraged with the support of family and friends.
Sheldon, now I think the audience at home should have a chance to get involved.
That's correct, Lorna, and we're learning that war can disrupt lives, even be fatal months and years after the shooting stops. Given the personal cost our soldiers pay and the public cost of taking care of their psychological needs, does this change your view about sending troops into war? Contact us by whichever medium you like. We love to hear from you, and we read and listen to every message.
Okay, coming up, a soldier and the Padre weigh in on the moral and spiritual cost of waging war against PTSD. But first, a look from the homecoming on a soldier's reality.
If anyone knows the torment of PTSD, it is this man.
I couldn't concentrate anymore. I was working myself into the ground, and literally I was trying to kill myself at work. I am not the person my wife married. I am not the father I was before, and never will be.
By bravely going public with his condition, Dallaire, both as a general and now as a senator, has helped demonstrate to Canadians the severity of PTSD among our veterans.